The late afternoon sun dipped low over the rolling plains, turning the sky a fiery orange. Dust clung to the air as ranch hands rounded up the last of the cattle for the day. Ethan Calloway swung down from his saddle, his boots crunching against the dry earth. Tall, broad-shouldered, with sun-bleached hair under his Stetson, Ethan was a man who carried the weight of his ranch and his past in equal measure. "Good work today, boys," he called, giving a nod to his hands before heading toward the barn. That's when he saw her. A young woman stood by the fence, her dress worn but clean, her bonnet shading a face both defiant and tired. "You lost?" Ethan asked, cautious but not unkind. She hesitated before speaking. "I'm looking for work. I can cook, men, do just about anything for a roof over my head." Ethan's eyes narrowed. Strangers didn't just wander out here without a reason. "What's your name?" She hesitated. "Clara." Something in the way she said it told him she was holding something back. But there was desperation in her voice, and Ethan was no stranger to hardship. "All right," he said slowly. "You can stay on. But this is a workin' ranch, Miss Clara. No free rides." She gave a small nod of relief, and for just a second Ethan saw gratitude flash in her eyes, before she quickly looked away. Days turned into weeks. Clara proved her worth quickly, cooking hearty meals, patching shirts, and helping drive cattle when needed. But at night, when the ranch grew quiet, Ethan sometimes caught her staring out at the horizon, as if waiting for someone. One evening after supper, he found her sitting by the campfire outside the bunkhouse. "You're a hard worker," Ethan said, sitting down across from her. "Hard work keeps a person alive," she replied softly. Ethan tilted his head, studying her. "You running from something, Clara?" She stiffened. For a long moment she said nothing. Then, barely above a whisper, "My father. He's wanted by the law. Been that way since I was little." Ethan's brows drew together. "An outlaw?" She nodded, clutching her shawl tighter. "He's done things I wish I could forget. But he's still my pa. Folks judge me for his choices, so I left. I needed a place where I wasn't just the outlaw's daughter." Ethan's jaw worked silently. He'd lost people too, knew what it meant to carry someone else's mistakes like a brand. "You're safe here," he said finally. "Long as you want to stay." Clara looked at him then, really looked, and something passed between them, quiet and electric as the crackle of the fire. It was early morning when the sound of hoofbeats shattered the stillness. Ethan stepped out onto the porch, rifle in hand, as 3 riders approached. At their head rode Sheriff McGraw, a grizzled man with a no-nonsense gaze. "Calloway," the sheriff said. "We're looking for a man, Jesse Boone. Heard he's been seen in these parts." Ethan felt Clara tense beside him. "Don't know him," Ethan said evenly. Though his gut twisted, the sheriff's eyes narrowed. "Word is he's coming to see his daughter." Ethan didn't flinch. "Ain't seen any strangers." When the posse rode off, Ethan turned to Clara. Her face was pale, her hands trembling. "He's coming," she whispered. "Pa wouldn't leave me be. He'll try to take me with him." Ethan felt a mix of anger and fear. "Do you want to go?" She shook her head, tears brimming. "No, I want a life here. A good life. But he won't let me." Ethan put a hand on her shoulder, steadying her. "Then we'll face him together." The night Jesse Boone arrived, the wind howled like a warning. Ethan stood by the corral, lantern in one hand, rifle in the other. Out of the darkness, a rider appeared, a broad man with a rough face and eyes that held both danger and sorrow. "Clara," Jesse called, his voice rough as gravel. "Come on, girl. Time to ride." Clara stepped out from behind Ethan, her voice trembling but firm. "No, Pa, I ain't going with you. I want a different life." Jesse's jaw clenched. "This ain't who you are. You're my blood." "She's her own person," Ethan said evenly, stepping forward. Jesse's hand twitched near his holster, and Ethan's rifle came up fast. For a tense moment, the air was razor thin. Then Clara moved closer to her father, her voice breaking. "I love you, Pa, but if you love me, let me go." Jesse's shoulders slumped. Slowly, he let go of his gun and turned his horse. Without another word, he rode into the night, leaving Clara sobbing softly in Ethan's arms. Weeks passed, and life on the ranch slowly returned to normal. Clara worked with a lighter step, her laughter starting to echo through the barn and kitchen. One evening, as the sun set in a blaze of gold, Ethan found her standing at the fence. "You've made this place feel alive again," Ethan said quietly. Clara turned to him, smiling shyly. And you made me feel like I belong. Ethan reached for her hand. Clara, I reckon I love you. Her breath caught, tears shining in her eyes. I love you too, Ethan. Under the wide western sky, with cattle lowing softly in the distance and the last rays of sun painting everything in gold, Ethan kissed her, sealing not just a love story, but a future. Though peace had settled over the ranch, Clara's heart still carried a quiet ache. Every night she wondered where her father had gone, and if the law had caught him. One afternoon, word came from town. Jesse Boone had been seen near the border, helping a family whose wagon had broken down. No robberies, no gunfights, just a man lending a hand. Clara sat on the porch steps, the letter crumpled in her lap. Ethan sat beside her. You all right? He asked gently. She nodded slowly. Maybe Pa's finally trying to change. Maybe he heard me that night. Ethan placed a steady arm around her shoulders. Men can change if they've got a reason to. You might have been that reason. Clara smiled faintly, leaning against him. I hope so. I'd like to see him one day. Not as an outlaw, but as a free man. The thought filled her with a bittersweet kind of hope, and Ethan silently vowed he'd help make that dream real if he could. Months later, the ranch was alive with celebration. Strings of lanterns hung between fence posts, casting a warm glow as neighbors and ranch hands gathered. Clara stood in a simple white dress, her hair braided with wild flowers. She looked radiant, not just with beauty, but with peace. Ethan, in a clean shirt and his best hat, stood tall beside her. The preacher's words were simple, but to Clara and Ethan, they were everything. Promises of a new life, a shared future, a home built on trust and love. As cheers went up, Clara thought she saw a lone rider in the distance watching from the hill. She blinked and he was gone, but she smiled through her tears. Pa, she whispered under her breath, knowing he had come to see her happy. Ethan took her hands and led her into the lantern-lit yard where music struck up and neighbors began to dance. For the first time in years, Clara felt completely free.
Like, share, and subscribe.